Hi, welcome to my channel. The first thing I'm going to do with these little wood blocks is put a layer of paint on there. This is just a white, it's in a gesso container, but I think it's just a Decoart Americana white, nothing fancy there. Just want to get a first coat on this wood so it doesn't soak up all my paint that I'm putting on here. Right now I'm using a Liquitex heavy body, and this is a light blue Liquitex heavy body, and they come in a 2-ounce tube. You can buy them anywhere. I love Liquitex paints. I use a lot of different kinds of paints, but I've been kind of gravitating towards them lately. Their pigments are really pure and they blend really nice. And I'm just scooping out a little more of that white. My whites I'm not too picky about. Sometimes I really love the golden white, but because I'm frugal, I often use, the cheaper craft paint white, unless I'm really wanting to paint something that is white, and then I'll use the golden paint. But I'm using a little sponge. These are makeup sponges that you can buy on Amazon, or you can get them at the Dollar Tree. I use so many of them that I found like my perfect ones on Amazon. They're like just the right density, and I can wash them out and use them over and over again. I picked up some yellow here to go on this deep green. And on that sponge, I have, like kind of all the colors on there. So they kind of mix and blend. And it's really fun to kind of see what happens. You don't know exactly. I kind of have a plan of just kind of a loose landscape here, but I don't have my heart set on anything in particular. I just want to see if something magical happens, some special marks or things will develop. But I'm going to get into it for a little bit longer, and then I'm going to want to let it dry before I put another layer on it, because, wet paint on wet paint just kind of gives you more wet paint. Nothing new will really happen after a while. You blend a little bit, but then if you keep going, it all just becomes one flat color, and who needs that? We want a little variety in our art. I'm dabbing in a little bit of burnt sienna here, and that burnt sienna is a golden brand. It's their fluid acrylics. I really like I love so many different paints, but today I'm using Liquitex on the deep green, the yellow, and that light blue. I'm using a craft paint for my white, a golden fluid acrylic for that burnt sienna. I think I'm just kind of getting to the point here where nothing new is really going to happen, but I just kind of want to get rid of some of that darker area up there and see if I can get some hint of clouds. But see how this sponge makes really cool marks on there, and you never quite know what's going to happen, but it's usually pretty fun. And the thing is, if I make a so-called mistake, oh well, I just let it dry and then put a little more paint over it. So I'm trying to get some more dark up in the sky here because it was looking a little bit muddy. But I can never tap in too much white. It's kind of a dance going back and forth with the colors. But as you can see, I have the other colors on that sponge, so I'm kind of moving them around. About time to look at it. Does it need anything? Should I stop now? Should I let it dry? That's what you run into. See how the different colors are coming together? Yeah, it's got to dry. All right, now I just want to clean up some of this muddy mess that I created at the top here. I'm just going back with a little more of that Liquitex light blue, and that's exactly what it's called, Liquitex light blue. It's in a 2-ounce tube, the one that I have. I'm just grabbing some white and some of that blue on here, and it looks like I'm making a little more mud. I think I need a new sponge. Yeah, I'm gonna grab one. Doesn't look new, but it's clean. I reuse them all the time, and I just rinse them out real good and let them dry, and they're ready to paint another piece. But as I'm working on this, you can see I've got the different colors in the bottom. You know, I've got that yellows mixed with the blue to make the light green in the background. That looks closer to the horizon, the light green. And then I have the deep green, a little bit of black, some yellow down there. I've thrown some blue down there. I'm probably going to put a little more blue in there. But I just like the variations in tone. And using that sponge, you can get different marks and make different shapes with it. And they just kind of happen. I'm not planning. It's like I want a 1 inch shelf looking thing upon the, no, I'm not doing that. I'm just going with it, seeing what happens. I can do it. Anybody can do it. And it's a lot of fun. And like I said earlier, if you make a so-called mistake, you can always let it dry and then just put another layer on it. Let's see what happens. You know, roll with it. Lightening up the horizon here with a little bit more of the white. You know, sometimes I paint the design around the edges of these blocks. Um, Often I forget and don't think about it until the very end, and then I'll kind of paint it around. Or 9 times out of 10, I admit that I just finish the sides in black or white or another complementary color to the piece. And then I can just put a little sawtooth hanger on the back and hang them on the wall. Often I'll paint a set of 3 and hang them 1, 2, 3 down the wall. Other times, you know, they just sit on a shelf somewhere on my desk and look pretty wherever I want them to. You know, sometimes I put one on a windowsill in the kitchen. Other times they're, you know, on a ledge in the bathroom. Wherever you need a little pop of color, you know. So I'm adding a little bit more of this blue because whatever I have up in the sky, I also want it at the bottom and around the painting to add harmony. And sometimes I get going and it kind of fades out. Actually, even on this one later, and I'm going to show you in the image at the very end, that after I let it dry and sit there for a while, I looked at it and I thought, you know, I just need a little bit of a different blue in there. And I grabbed some phthalo blue. That's it. Hope you enjoyed it. Give it a try.